action.
Alrighty, here we have two holes. Boom, boom. One of these holes has, one is a piece you can just pop back in. The other one is a spot where somebody has screwed up and cut the hole too small. It's usually a big problem, but hey, in this case, hopefully not. What you want to do is you want to measure the size of the short side, since these are smaller. Like these are this one's 6 inches. You're going to cut a piece of either 1x3 or 1x4 white pine that's easy to screw into. About 2 inches bigger than your measurement. So this one's 6 inches, you're going to make it 8 inches. This one is 8 inches, so we're going to make it 10 inches. Well, luckily, since I was waiting on my wife to figure out how to video, I have already cut those. So, I have them here. What you want to do is take these couple screws, a gun. A screw gun's better, but since you don't have one, I'm using a impact because that's what I have.
What kind of screws?
And make sure you use drywall screws and try to avoid the exterior screws because they just don't sink in very well. You want to mess up right away, start over again. Anyway, you want to put the wood where it's hanging over like this on the back of your sheetrock. And watch your hand on the back of it because the screws are longer than what you're holding, so it kind of hurts the fingers or hand. And when you put the screws in, countersink them a little bit because when you're trying to finish it, it makes it harder to do it if not. Obviously easier if the board is attached to a wall, but this one is not. All right, you do one there, then you come over here and you do the other one. You put in enough screws where you're not going to bust it out. Hopefully the board on the outside of the hole is not horrible because it makes it worse. Later in the video, we'll get into that. Put enough screws in there where it's not going to, where it's actually going to hold the board on there. I mean, hold the wood, because what you're going to do is we are going to figure which way this goes. Pop that back in there, nice and easy, and you put a. When you do this, don't push it very hard because you will bust out the screws from here, and you don't want that to happen. So and that's how you do that. Nice and flat. It doesn't matter anything else. All right, on the bottom one, it's a basic same concept. Going to put the wood in. Make sure you do it where it's crossing that one as well. So remember, don't oversink and make sure they're sunk in enough too. Give a little divot in there. I know it's harder than I'm making it look. Easier with a screw gun if you have one, or a actually make a bit that actually countersinks screws. I don't think you're really worried about getting that right now. Over a couple repairs. Anyway, same concept. Oops, see, I overdid that one. Gotta do another one. The only difference in this one is you're going to just, well, again, you're doing it with ceiling, so you do one at a time, obviously. And hopefully your sheetrock is not a mess up in there where everything works out fine. And you got to make sure you put the pieces in right. It's like a puzzle, you know. So Like I said, don't over push when you're doing this, because you'll bust it out and have to start over again, or maybe even cut a piece. Okay, that's how you do that.
Okay, you're on.
All right, if the drywall is messed up that was supposed to be in here or around it, what you want to do is you take your measurement. This is like 9.5. Make it a little bigger. I'm going to go out past my screw holes just because it's easier for me. It's mine about 2 inches wider, an inch wider, whatever you want to do. The same. And just a little wider on both sides, okay? 1.5 inch, it doesn't matter as long as you get out of the broken up area, okay? I'm gonna make mine a little bigger than I have to, just because I can. All right. And you cut the board. I know I'm gonna do this in a way that I know you don't want to do, but you can use squares or whatever else. I'm just going to do that. 11.5. Get your board nice and pretty. Grab your pencil. You slap that up there like this, and you draw it out. And I usually mark the top where it's going to fit. Okay. And I would advise you using a keyhole saw, but I am way too lazy for that, man. So I got my, what I call an oscillator tool, but it's a multi-tool. And it gets noisy now. Clean it up, make sure it's good. All right, back to the same concept about measuring your wood. Yeah, not that wood, this wood, the 1x3 or 1x4. So it is 9 inches, so I'm gonna make it about 11 inches. Ah, shoot. Okay, my wood's not long enough, so I'm gonna make it 9.5 because that's what I have. But again, make it a little longer. And you do the same basic thing. All right, so I installed the wood, and she told me that I was too obscene to continue, so we stopped, and now we started back up. So here we go. This is after the wood's in there, and this is the piece that I cut that I showed you. It's a beautiful thing. So anyway, so you finish screwing it off, and then we'll get into the next thing in a minute. This is mesh tape. I'm pretty sure you know about it. It is going to be what I'm having a hard time with it. You sucker. There we go. It's like, you know, trying to get something off your finger. Anyway, you do this, you hold it out, you put it across, give it a cut. The reason I'm using a razor knife is because a lot of new drywall knives aren't very sharp, so they don't like to cut this. It doesn't matter the color of the tape, unless it's, well, I mean, green tape matters, but it's not the same. Anyway, you just keep going with this, go all your joints. Don't let it extend over very far because it just makes it harder to finish. Nice and easy. Okay. And that's that. It's taped. You can pause. Alright, a lot of times you'll have stuff like this that's sticking out. Just take the butt of your knife and kind of knock it in on like anything that's out further. Like usually happens with the corners and stuff. Just knock it in to make sure it's as flat as possible. Okay? And the reason I say that is because when you're doing drywall, you're smoothing. You're not making, anything that's sticking out makes it that much harder to finish. Okay?
Okay, go.
All right, now we're going to mix some mud. I advise using a quick set mud, a powdered mud that is a quicker setting. This is 5. Don't use 5 because you don't want to use 5. Use like a 20-minute mud or something like that. And the reason I advise that is 1, it's going to take a week for regular mud to dry, and 2, it doesn't shrink up as much. So anyway, you can do it 1 of 2 ways. You can either put the water in first or the mud in first. It's going to take more than you think. Just kind of pour it in, and get yourself a sponge. I use a brush, but because I do it all the time, and just kind of put your water in. You're looking for a consistency you can work with, that it's not too fluffy or dry or wet, obviously. So really got to be careful how much water you put in the end. Okay. Normally I put the water in first, but to show you, I just want to have, it's easier to figure how much water you need. And if you have too much like I do now, just dump a little back, whatever. You just mix it up real well. Get all the dry stuff off the side. Just mix it real well. Get all that dry stuff out of the bottom too. And just to get a good consistency, you don't want it real thin or else you're going to be wearing it. You don't want it real thick or it'll roll across the ceiling and you'll break your arm spreading it. Anyway, this is about right. I got lucky. Then I grab my bigger knife. Kind of get it smooth and kind of take it, kind of lay it out. Okay. You're going to leave mud on it. You don't want it down to nothing, okay? I'm bowing the knife when I do this. And now real lightly just kind of go over it, okay? I know I make it look easy, but from what I hear it's not. So just kind of lightly go over it, okay? Many times you want to, but just you don't have to worry about it that much. This is just the first coat. And these are closer together than what you have, so overlapping like this is a lot harder, but just go one way over it, okay? Kind of clear it. When you do that, kind of bow your knife and kind of bring it around, not real hard, and just bring it across. Make sure it's covered decently, and the lines don't matter as much as you think. All right, and when we come back, we'll finish showing you. We'll show you another coat. All right. Okay, we're back again. We're ready to put the second coat on the patches. Okay, before you using the 20-minute mud, you want to wait about 30 minutes to an hour. Just make sure it's dry to the touch, because if it's not, then it kind of makes a mess. So you need to make sure that it's dry and ready to go. Okay. All right. So when you do this, you're gonna have some lines in it from doing it before. Just lightly go across it, knock off the ridges, basically. it makes it easier. Mine's not quite dry, so anyway, and what you want to do is you want to cross it the other way. Okay. And yes, I know I make it look easy, but from what I'm told. Okay, cross it the other way. Down like so. And that's that part. Okay, I'm not going to show you the third part because it's just repetition. You'll need to do one more coat, and you want to cross it this way again, and that way it gets rid of all the bumps, ridges, and everything. And then let it sit overnight, and then come back and sand it down. And just sand it lightly around the edges. Make sure you don't leave anything there, and sand it down. Get it ready for paint. That's about it, man. All right. See ya.